Well, people do like to talk about big data today. And I'm not sure anybody knows exactly what they mean when they say it. Because historically, people have always been interested in getting as much information as they can in order to base decisions and roadmaps on good information. So that's nothing new. I think the difference and the reason people do talk about big data today is that our ability to collect much more extensive information, data about people, behavior, activity, and so forth, is far greater. So the notion of big really means big in that sense. I mean, we suddenly have these massive volumes of new data that didn't exist before. So that, we do know how many people click on an ad online, or we do know with much more specificity, how many people are choosing a particular path for transportation versus, another option, because we just have the ability to collect that data in much more scientific ways. In sports, to give you an example, we now have whole categories of data that didn't exist before. So whereas before we had been able to say this fastball looks like around 100 miles an hour, we now know not only that it's 97 miles an hour, but that it moved 2 inches left and crossed the plate in an exact location. We're tracking the trajectory, the velocity, the location 30 times a second from the moment it leaves the pitcher's hand. And all of that data can be used to monitor if a pitcher is losing their steam, if a pitcher has changed in terms of their delivery from a prior year. And this is happening in every sport. In the NFL this year, they'll be putting a chip on players and tracking every movement. You'll be able to know exactly how fast a defensive back reacts when the ball leaves the quarterback's hand. When you have these new massive data sets, and sports is just one example because that kind of data in different ways applies to every industry, there's a natural inclination to want to use it in ways that can add value, whether it's adding value to the cornerback who needs to react quicker or adding value to the company that wants to sell a product to people who are clicking in different ways around the internet. You have to analyze the data. And of course, one of the major changes that's accompanied the existence of all this data is the emergence of more sophisticated data mining tools. So you put these things together and suddenly you have a whole industry built around analyzing huge amounts of data and making hopefully valuable and appropriate uses of it.